All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Okay, next on the agenda is the roll call. Danny, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Keith Barnes.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson. Trustee Richard Tokar.
Here.
Trustee Ed Holland.
Present.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Here.
Trustee McKinley.
Here.
Trustee Brent McWhorter.
Okay, we do still have a quorum, so we will continue on. Next is the approval of the agenda, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for October 11th, 2023 as presented by staff. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Ed Hellam and a second by Trustee Richard Toker to approve the agenda as presented by staff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Next is the approval of the minutes, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes for September 27th, 2023 as presented by staff.
Second.
And we have a motion by Trustee Richard Tucker and a second by Trustee McManny to approve the minutes of September 27th, 2023. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sound. Motion carries. Next is audience business, and we don't have anybody signed up and nobody in the audience, so we'll move right along to announcements. Heather?
I just have two. I will be out of the office next week and I will not be regional.
Bummer.
But your department heads are fabulous and they will take care of everything. And number two, we received a street closure request from the chamber for the old-fashioned Christmas. So staff's been working with the chamber to start coordinating that event, which is always the first Friday in December. So that's all I have.
Great.
Next is the treasurer's report, the September bills and claims. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pass the treasurer's bills and claims for September as presented by staff.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Trustee Denise Bryant and a second by Trustee Richard Tucker to accept and pass the treasurer's report for September bills and claims as presented by staff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Okay, motion carries. Moving right along to the committee reports. The Montezuma County Commissioner. Gerald, you're up.
We'll get you out of here because I know you're going to roll.
Probably the biggest thing that's going on right now over there is we've been dealing with ironwood for quite a while up there at the old plywood plant. We've had to force removal of that pile of material. CDPHE finally ended up in court. They've been paying a fine every week until they get that off of there, until they get that material off the ground. CDPHE this week decided to let them spread part of it on that ground up to 3 inches deep all over that whole partial there in order to get it out of there, because we took a lot of it to the landfill and composted it, but there's not any place for them to go with it. Basically is what it amounts to. It's not a good situation no matter what we do, but that's what's going on with it right now, and I think the fines right now are $7,500 a week.
Wow.
Started out 25, went to 5,000. I think they're at 7,500 this now, and they're going to go to 25,000 if they don't get it off there by a date. I think it's November the 15th. But don't quote me on that date because I don't remember exactly that was the exact date, because it's kind of jumped around here lately. But those fines have been going up every time they went. When we went back to court this last time, we actually was trying to reach an agreement with them to just get the piles divided up so there'd be less chance of it catching fire, and to have an alleyway between them so they could actually fight the fire if it did catch on fire. But evidently, the judge was tired of messing with this thing, so he made the decision to do this, to just raise the fines a bunch and put them on a tough schedule. And that's where they're at right now. So everybody that's out here, sector trying to get trucks and everything else, it's a hard deal to get it done. But as much as the fines are, I can't believe they don't just find some way to find enough trucks to start getting rid of it. But that's what's happening with it. So you will see piles of it around in different areas all out in the county. You get out. Anyway, that's beside the point. But they're scattered out. They're not all in a big pile like that. Otherwise, we're just working on our budget, trying to get through, because we're going to figure we're probably going to have $1 million shortfall that we're going to have to pull out of reserves to make this year. That's where we're looking at, trying to get that down from that. And but it looks like that's somewhere close to that's where we're going to end up, being about $1 million short again.
Can't maintain that. It's like farming.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, we're gonna have to cut some programs and cut some different things that are going on. That's all there is to it. We can't just keep working in this deficit. We only have so much in reserves, and there's so many things that can happen where you need enough reserves to fix some things that we're going to have to do that. Other thing on this Colorado River Task Force, we've been meeting every 2 weeks. We have a meeting tomorrow afternoon in Ignacio. The next one, 2 weeks later, is going to be down at Toyoak. So they are holding some of these meetings in this part of the state now. The last ones was in Granby, one for that was in Grand Junction, and then in Denver. So, but we are getting these two down in this area, so at least they're coming down here. We had a meeting at Southwest today. I did. And Becky Mitchell was there, our new Colorado River Commissioner. Gave a talk on what program she's working on as far as the negotiation for these guidelines for the Colorado River, for the operation of basically a PAL in need over the next, whenever those guidelines are up at 26, we have to get in charge of how those reservoirs are operated. Because right now, everything we put from Lake Powell down to Lake Mead to balance those reservoirs, they just take out the other end. Colorado's been using about 4 million acre feet of water, or the upper basin states, I should say, not just Colorado, but the upper basin states using about 4 million. Those lower basin states are using about 10. And it's supposed to be equal. We're supposed to be using about the same amount they are. Well, it's not good. It's not a good situation, and it's not easy to wean people off of something they've been using for a long time for nothing. And that's what it amounts to. It's going to be some really tough negotiations. I hope we're up to it. I mean, it's gonna be some, if it doesn't end up in litigation, it would surprise me. Because that's what's happened every time before, and every time Colorado and the upper basin states stepped back and didn't force the issue. And that's how we got in the situation we're in now. So it's not a good situation that we're in. And I asked her today to make sure that the Attorney General had her back if she walks away from these negotiations. And she said he did, so hopefully we're on the right track. Because I think that's what's gonna have to come down to. They've got to make them stop taking so much water out that lower end. And if they don't, that whole lower system's gonna be tanked. Because they'll drop it below the power pools and everything in those reservoirs if they keep going. So it's not a good situation. Most of you are not involved with Monson Valley Irrigation Company, but we had one of our canals that washed out up by Groundhog Reservoir, one of the feeder canals. We've almost got that all put back together. So that's coming around. We should get done by the end of the month, hopefully. It's gonna cost the company about $1 million to get it done, but it washed the Arroyo down to the people's private ground where it breached that canal, because there was so much water this spring, it just breached the canal in 2 places, and it just washed a big Arroyo down through the places up there by Groundhog. We've been in there trying to replace all that, put that all back, reseed it, keep it from erosion and stuff, so it's been a job that's going on. Other than that, we've just been dealing with the budget and personnel issues. Typical deal for, yeah, because I think the county's at about 260 employees, and so you always have some issues with that. That's about all that's going on. So.
Thank you,
You bet.
Okay, next is the Montezuma County Planning Commission, and I know they have been busy sending lots of things on to the commissioners too, and their meeting is tomorrow night, so I will attend that meeting. Region 9?
Well, I missed their meeting they had last month. But what I can tell you, let's see, they were giving an award. It's called the National Association of Development Organizations, and they were given this. There's different areas, different categories. And they were given this award for local government, meaning that their project partners with this, the COG, we keep talking about that, Southwest, Colorado County. So since they've been trying to integrate them, and they also work with 17 of the local governments. So they are being nationally recognized for that. And a little bit I caught on broadband. Remember we signed a letter of credit? So that letter of credit now, I think there was a speaker who, they're going to get rid of that. I think that's kind of the movement they're going towards, to get rid of that. They're working on changing that. And then because they're realizing this need for this broadband expansion, he kind of compared it to like the 1920s when bringing electricity to rural areas. Now it's bringing broadband to rural areas. So I think they're really working on changing the way that they're going to go about trying to get that. So those are like the only 2 things that I kind of got out of that.
Thanks.
Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, CDOT.
Yeah, meeting's tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay, moving right along to our discussion and action items. Number 1 is the 2023 second round agency contribution follow-up reports.
So I will say something in
Right.
Community Connections, I did let them know you don't have to be here because they just presented to you guys at the last meeting. And then Imagination Library, Karen, she is out of town or out of the country or something. And she, I think, is kind of a one-woman show, so she submitted a written report that I included in your book.
Right.
It was very informative. I thought she did a really good job.
So we just have to relaunch Chicken Creek in order to make his food share and pay for it.
Hey, forward's here.
Pay it forward this year.
So if Chicken Creek Nordic and Lincoln's Future do not do their presentation, then the next application that they submit will be denied and they will have to go to whatever route is out.
So they've been notified though, yeah?
So, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some do have to show up, some don't. Is that the way it
And they're all supposed to.
No.
No, they
supposed to.
don't, they are no longer,
Eligible for the next round.
Except for the two that you just mentioned. Because Community Connections presented at the last meeting, they submitted another application. And then Imagination Library submitted a written report because she's out of the country. Because she's a one-woman show. There's nobody else.
Yeah, so here's my written report, but I came anyway,
Good.
because I don't want to be denied next year. And maybe next year I could get the full grant amount, and that would be awesome.
So why don't you come up to the podium and give your name and who you're from?
Stand
And
right here.
we really need you up here so it's
This is
recorded.
what I don't do.
I know, but we need you up here. So
Well, there's not an audience.
There's nobody. It's just us.
I don't care.
We do.
Okay.
Give us your name and your address for the record, please.
Dana Weaver, 7788 Road 39.
Now tell us how you spend our money.
All of my information is pretty much privileged.
Okay.
But I will tell you that since the meeting I came to request the grant, we've already spent over $4,000 in what we pay for our grants, which average about $1,000 a piece on the average. Since January, we're at 11,000. So, well, that's a big chunk of change
Yes.
for someone who is no longer willing to fundraise the way I used to. At this rate, we're going to last about 3 more years, and then some other lucky soul can come in. We are not getting donations like we used to at all. Public doesn't seem to even know about us. My biggest donator currently is the Mancos Valley Thrift Store, who gives me 10% of her profits every couple of months. So your money was spent either on rent, utilities, water bills, accidents, car repair, food. That's it. That's how it was spent. It went into a general fund and everything comes out of that fund. So that $600 went somewhere to help someone in town.
That's all we wanted to know. So we need to help somebody.
Actually, I put it in my back pocket.
I doubt that.
Del Rio.
Yeah.
Stop supporting local business.
Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Dana.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you also for your donation. Very much. I should have said that.
Okay, next on the agenda then is the public hearing for our 2024 budget presentation. So I will open the public hearing. I see nobody here to speak. I will close the public hearing. Heather, do you want to?
So we have had a few changes since the last workshop where we talked about this. We're still balanced in all funds. We are actually a little bit better than we were at the end of second quarter, at the end of third quarter. Our property tax is estimated, because we don't have a final certification as of yet, at 124,000, up from 107 last year. So not a huge increase, but not decrease.
We're all paying it.
Yeah. We did receive the source of information, so I've updated that in the budget. We will update the dispatch bill when we get that. We estimated that high, so I'm not anticipating any trouble with that, but it is one of our larger just annual bills. And then we will increase the planned investment fees. That information will be brought to you once I have the final third quarter CPI information. I don't have it yet. So I would imagine that if we talk about this in November, I'll have some information for you, and then this won't have to be adopted by resolution in the first week in December. At this point, I don't imagine a ton of changes happening because we've kind of estimated everything. I always estimate revenue low and expenditures high. Not quite as much this year. I was a little more conservative with revenues, but I still don't anticipate any trouble. And I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit of an increase in revenue because we do have, after the next meeting, we do have a new marijuana store opening up. So maybe we'll see some retail, they call them retail transactions. Ultimately, it's not official tax, but we may see some increase from that. We'll see. Because we're down to one store, so we have taken a hit.
So all the funding, all the fund centers are still in the green? The sewer,
absolutely.
the sewer and water fund?
Yes, if you look at.
Operationally,
If you look at page 9 of your packet, operating and maintenance, everything is balanced. We're $45,000 to the good and general fund, $200 in the conservation trust fund. That one is solely water fund, so there's not a lot we can give up. 48,000 in in the water fund, and 7,300 in sewer fund. Those are very conservative numbers. And that is solely operating and maintenance, and it is not the marijuana transaction fee. Although it's not required by the ballot language, we always use that for capital in the general fund. So if you look at the column on the right on page 9, that tells you our capital projects and capital funding committed. Now, if you look at, say, the Cottonwood Park River improvements, there's an expenditure plan for $150,000. I don't have any grant money committed, so I didn't include that. I know what I want to apply for, but if it's not committed, it didn't get included in the budget. So operating and maintenance is balanced. You know, it's not super fabulous, but we're balanced. And then our capital and stuff is on the column on the right for you guys. So if you look at our estimated beginning fund balance for the general fund in 2024 is about $2.5 million, and we're looking at going $370,000 into reserves. But again, we may
that's
get
what it's
additional-
for.
Exactly.
To use for capital projects.
And we can still apply for grants. We'll apply for grants for Cottonwood. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with both water and sewer. So you'll notice.
See, Daryl.
Hi, Daryl. You'll notice, like in the sewer fund, I did include grant revenue of $107,000 because that's committed. Contracts are signed. We're working on.
Yeah, we already know we have that money coming.
So anyway, so that's kind of the short. Nothing's changed since we've been talking about this. I haven't had to take anything out of the budget. Your department heads are pretty good about managing their budget. So we're doing okay. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
I have a few. Sorry, I should know this, but under our budget, in the first page, under the general fund, miscellaneous revenue, we proposed this. Oh God, I'm showing my glasses. 855. Okay, so that's so different than what the actual budget
Correct.
was. 11,000. What's that?
So that $855,000 includes an $843,000 grant from DOLA.
Or
So miscellaneous revenue is where you're going to see, like the marshal's office grant. We have that, it's committed.
I got it.
That revenue is coming in 2024.
Okay, so we know that that money's coming.
Correct.
Okay, and that's because of the marshal's office or,
The building, the DOLA grant, when Justin and Jason went up and presented
yeah,
to DOLA.
and how much, and that's how much they,
They awarded us $840,750.
okay, so that's why that was so different, okay.
Correct.
And, excuse me, but I think I had another question. Okay, so under, this is the water fund, so, you have it highlighted in a different color, the 82,000 under the inter-fund transfer.
Yes.
What's that?
So you'll see on the water fund and the sewer fund, there's a dollar amount. What those dollars do is we transfer those from water and sewer back to the general fund to cover the expenditures. So Mercedes is our utility billing clerk, but all of her personnel expenses come out of the general fund. So when, right in December, right before we finalize the budget, I'm going to go back, I have a formula that I have to use. I'm gonna go back and take all of those numbers and I'm gonna update them. These numbers are going to be finalized. I'm almost positive they're firm, but I highlight those to remind myself that I have to take a certain amount from water fund, a certain amount from sewer fund to cover Mercedes' salary and benefits.
Okay.
To cover the streets guys who are coming out of the general fund, but they're actually working on water and sewer. Because the only salaries that come out of water and sewer with salary and fringe is our public works director and our plant operator.
Okay.
But our public works streets guys, sometimes they work on streets, sometimes they work on water, sometimes they.
Okay, so they're general fund.
Correct.
Okay.
The same,
The other looks
Sometimes
at
they don't
that.
work at all.
And I have to provide that worksheet.
Terry, I see that
I
look.
use to get to these numbers. That is something that I have to provide to the auditor every year to
Okay.
prove why I'm doing interfund transfers.
well,
Okay,
do
that's-
you not take some of your and Jamie's administrative costs, some of your
I do Jamie's, I don't do mine because these funds can't support that.
Got it.
if they were fat, you could.
If they were found, and once the water project is done and once the sewer project is done,
They should be able to do that.
yeah, they better be able to.
They better.
So, but the last couple of years,
Yeah.
because we have that debt service, and so we have, there's another 80% formula kind of thing. And if you put a portion of my salary and fringe in there, we'd get.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay.
And
I just wasn't sure if you included that.
And
I
another.
knew you did Mercedes, but I didn't know if your two.
I do Jamie's and I do the streets guys,
Okay.
and
Okay.
supplies and gas, that kind of stuff. These funds can't support any.
Anymore. Well, since we raised sewer rates, have we seen anything in the budget? Has that helped?
It is absolutely helpful. And when he was here doing the audit, I don't know if you remember, but he said, you're getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, we should be good. I'm still being pretty conservative though in the sewer fund, just to be safe, first of all, and second of all, we may have some pretty hefty expenses coming in, because, we're currently working with SGM for designing and.
Yeah. So any of that money that we got from like lawsuit money, is that in?
I did not include that as a revenue in 2023, it's in our fund.
It's in, I see that. So, okay, because all of a sudden we have 53,500 under sewer collection, where the other years was like 8,500. So why I was just curious why this is so much more.
Oh, well, so I will have to, so I have to look at the 105,000 in the 2023 budget, but the 45,000 in capital for 2024, that includes half of the, service line,
Oh,
and then what else is it? Because it's in, hold on.
So it's just that under sewer collection, for your proposal for next year, it's just a whole lot more. It's this 53,500 versus the actual budget for this year is like 14,000.
Stormwater master plan If you
That's
look
right.
at page 16,
Okay,
because if you're looking at capital in the budget,
yes,
in anywhere, if you look at page 16 of your packet,
yeah,
it tells you what each capital project is and what fund it's coming out of.
So that's,
So you look at your stormwater master plan is coming out of sewer. Your extension of your utility line on the 184 is being split between water and sewer.
mm-hmm,
And your wastewater treatment plant is coming out of sewer. So if you're looking at the sewer fund capital in admin or plant or distribution, or excuse me, collection for sewer, you will see
these numbers,
correct.
I gotcha, okay. I know you probably,
No, you're totally, even I am like, I don't remember that. I have to go back and-
how many years do you have to keep telling me
It's
this?
okay.
do you get it right?
Do I get it right?
And it helps to have more eyes on this, because we look at it, the department heads talk about it and that kind of thing, but it still helps to have eyes on this. So I don't have questions at all, and if you have
Okay.
questions, the public may have questions.
That was my only question.
Like we said at the school board forum the other night, it would be really nice to have people come to their meetings.
Yeah.
It would be really nice to have people come to ours instead of just being mad at us or disagree with us.
I'm hoping that because nobody ever comes, that they think that you guys are doing a good job and we're being transparent.
That's a great argument.
I mean,
Yeah.
we post our best of claims on our website, we advertise our budget workshops, we put this in the paper, we put it on our website. I have a list of how many people, I guess, who get copies of these agendas, so they know that it's happening. So I don't think that we have any issues at all with budget and transparency and finance.
It's true.
Definitely don't think we have any trouble with transparency
You
at
just
all.
have to piss them off.
I was gonna say, they'd only be here if they were angry.
That's where you put in, you throw a thing in the budget, cruise, bonus for mayor,
Yeah.
you put down golf outing for trustees. You might get someone interested, and you know what, you probably not, and they would just,
Lake Powell for Terry and I.
yeah, Lake Powell retreat for staff.
But we got new body armor next
$10,000.
year, so we'll be fine.
I won't be surprised if someone would catch it. I mean, they don't, that's the problem, I guess, they trust you.
Other than the auditor. He might ask a question.
Yeah,
It's all in how you word it.
they just put down a line item, beer money. Yeah, it's just, it's fortunate that they trust us, but it's unfortunate they're not.
Right,
Alright,
okay.
So I don't know, if you guys have any other questions, but.
Not on that.
No?
as long as everything's still in the green, I'm okay.
The green.
I think it's a black and red.
Okay. All right,
Cash.
we'll move right along then to proposition 123, housing commitment.
Come on, Jason.
Jason.
Let's hear it, Jason.
Alright, if you guys know, I and Denise have been studying on this, affordable housing fund that was set up in, well, it was the second half of 2023, based on voter approval last November. So, we are coming up against the deadline, where any communities, whether they be counties or municipalities or towns, need to file their commitment to achieving affordable housing growth over the next 3-year period. It's been a very interesting sort of ride to go along with the whole division of housing, because the way the legislation was written is just, the data that they made everybody use is just not that great. It's a survey, and I don't need to move that to you guys. But they got a lot of pushback right away, and so the Division of Housing has been providing a lot of technical support, including this tool online where you can go in and you can mess with like different numbers that you think may represent your community better than what ACS is giving us. I did my due diligence around that, and it just, for the town of Mancos, and basically I work with real estate and mortgage folks to see if we could make any changes to the data, because we had challenged it and kind of indicated these are the things that we want to use to try to get our numbers to change. After all that work, we made the difference of about 1 unit a year, or over the 3 years, sorry. So based on that, and believe me, if you ask any of the other municipalities in the area or the county, nobody feels really great about the data 100%, but by committing, by opting in, what we're doing is we're actually opening up funding for other entities, for-profit, nonprofits, to be able to access some of these different funding programs that are a result of the 123 funds. If we didn't do that, affordable housing projects through these funds could not, I mean, they couldn't use the available programs in the town. Most of the communities have already opted in. I think Cortez is doing the same thing with their tour either this week or next week. But our number over the course of 3 years is we need to permit, not build, we need to permit 15 affordable units in the next 3 years.
2 years.
Go for it.
My question is, how do we commit that when we aren't the builders? I mean, we can't say, okay, Richard, you're a builder, you gotta build one, you know, Terry, you're a builder, you gotta build two. I mean, we can't.
We're
You know,
incentivized.
it's a commitment, you know, to me, the way I look at it, it's a desire.
Exactly.
It's impossible for us to commit to 50, you know, like it says, you know, if we don't make it, we can renegotiate or repropose. But it's one of those deals where we aren't physically building. So I find it very difficult for us to commit. You know, if being that what I read, that there's, you know, it's like a no harm, no foul if we don't make it, let's commit.
Yeah.
And let's cross our fingers. I mean, right now, what do we have? 2 over here and how many at the 3? So we got 5. We're a third of the way there.
Well,
Those won't count.
Those don't count.
those don't count.
Oh,
So Ed, also think of this as, this opens it up
No,
for
I'm for
us,
it.
for us to, like, you know, land bank or community trust, and then deed restrictions. Like, there's a whole lot of other things that go into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And then we would hire possibly a developer that's turned over to them, and they figure, yeah,
Yeah, I think, you know, because there is no harm, no foul, I don't see a problem with it.
right.
But I just find it hard to use the word commitment
I
to
see.
something
Oh,
we
I see
can't
what you're
do.
saying.
We can't commit. You know, we're committing, you know, to something that we can't do. I mean, you know.
I'm sure our legislators in the state have heard this at this point.
Yeah.
Yes. They'll just make you build it.
Well, I mean, and that's the bottom line. I think really what's coming our direction, and we don't have to do this right now, but they're really, you know, whether or not a municipality decides to do any building themselves, they are also kind of moving us forward in compliance to have a fast track approval process set up in the next couple of years.
Which
So,
isn't bad.
Which is 90 days. I mean, this is where, you know, we'll have.
We're small enough, we could do 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
not a problem.
We have
That's-
a grant for that as well. We're currently working on that with Elizabeth. Remember those?
Sure.
Yep.
Banking and linkage fees?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, no, I think it's something we have to commit to, but we can't commit. We're committing to it, but we can't commit to that.
Yeah, so the word commit is, yeah,
Show of faith.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as we talk about affordable housing units, it's really gonna be more workforce housing units. These are for, not HUD, we're not working with the federal feds on that kind of, we're really just working on, affordable housing
You know, the
units.
term affordable housing, you know, a lot of communities instantly when you say affordable housing, oh, you mean low income.
Yeah, that's not what this is.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm just making sure everybody here knows that that's not what
You know,
this is about.
I guess when, I'll ask this, what do they consider affordable?
Okay, so.
What's the number?
The way that the state defines, affordability is that you're not spending more than 30% of your household income on your housing.
30%?
30% of your monthly income. So in terms of the funds through Proposition 123, we're talking about development of rentals and for sale. Okay, so the rules of the game as it currently stand for this funding is that if rentals are built, they either need to meet that 30% threshold or they have to be 60% of AMI or below, which kind of does put them in some low income tax credit type of development scenarios that are very complicated on those things. If for sale is being built in town, it's 100% the area median income. And that same 30% of their monthly income is spent on a mortgage. The reason why this has become more and more complicated and difficult for the broader community is because of our interest rates.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
killing us right now.
completely putting pressure downward on like what you can sell a house for and still meet that threshold, right?
What's our AMI?
64
64.
is our county AMI.
So you're still looking at over $1,800 a month.
It's 1,600 a month.
No.
So anyway, and I mean, the interest rates are going to change in the next 3 years. And who knows, if they're going to come down that much. But things will just kind of morph around us. I think the other thing that they're still sort of trying to figure out is how some of these programs are actually going to roll out. Land banking was released, and it was a letter of, if you wanted to get into that in the first round, you had to submit a letter of interest, and they allocated $24.5 million to it, right? And they received $255 million worth of letters of interest. Obviously, the demand is there, and that fund is going to go up because what this represents is a half year's worth of the Proposition 123 funds. So next year there'll be more money, and I think over the course of time, everybody can kind of settle into that. We have no idea how they're going to make this, ongoing compliance measures. We have no idea. Like, how do we prove that we built 15? We don't know how to do that yet, but they're going to figure that out.
If it's just 15 permits,
It's
kind of like
another thing about
paperwork.
I mean, I guess I don't need to go into the weeds about how each one's programs works, but
I say we do it.
I agree.
Well,
I think
if we don't meet that 15 commitment, then we just aren't eligible to apply for any funding in 2027, right?
Right, or you renegotiate, or you
Yeah, I think we'll have to renegotiate anyway. If
Well,
we
who
want to
knows?
continue asking for funding. So we just have a year where we can't ask for anything. Or
Yeah.
nobody,
nobody else can.
projects
Yeah.
within the town of Memphis can't ask for funding.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you didn't, I don't know what's sorry.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can. Is basically the answer at that point.
So the submittal process is pretty easy. I've already filled out a very simple form online. It's this community portal. So once you guys let me know what
Well, it needs a
you
motion
do,
from the board, really.
I will press the button to submit it, and I don't think we're going to get any questions. So, because we're using their data,
Yeah,
you're not super complicated with how we're going to do it. So,
And let's get her done.
So if you guys are inclined, we need a motion to authorize Jason Armstrong to the town of Memphis to submit the 15 affordable units through the portal.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Richard Tucker and a second by trustee Ed Hallam to approve, Jason,
Jason Armstrong.
Affordable units.
to approve the 15 affordable housing units through Proposition 123. Jamie, would you call it all? Trustee Richard Pepper.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Helm.
Aye.
Trustee James Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Elizabeth.
Okay, motion carries.
Good work,
Start
Jason.
building.
Yes.
Once us get working, once get building. Pretty much the same.
Got the checks, Jason. Let's get going.
You have to use sign those paychecks.
I mean, there's a house. I just signed enough money for a whole house, right? We were the.
Okay, so the next item is the Dolores Ranger District Motorized Grant Letter of Support. Heather?
Each year that the Dolores Ranger District submits this grant application, they ask for a letter of support. So I'm just asking for your approval to send this, the attached letter of support over to that tomorrow. It doesn't obligate us and it doesn't commit us. Just a letter of support, no contractual, no financial.
Yes, Denise, you have a question?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I thought I did, but I don't. I figured it out.
Good here.
I think it's a good
looks
idea. Looks great.
Motion?
Make a motion we approve the attached letter of support for the Dolores Ranger District Motorized Grant application.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Nick Manning and a second by trustee Denise Bryan to approve the attached letter of support for the Dolores Ranger District Motorized Grant application. Jamie, call the roll, please.
Trustee Richard Pepper.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Helm.
Aye.
Trustee James Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Nathan.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving right along to items for October 25th. We have the Everbridge Emergency Alert System presentation. That's the new emergency system. The student liaison appointment.
Oh.
We're going to do that next week because tonight was the.
Who's on the selection committee for that?
We are.
We are?
Yeah.
What are?
Did we interview?
No, we're interviewing the.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I don't.
We're gonna interview the three,
the
Yeah, the
three.
school vetted the three, right?
Chose the three to send to us.
and then they said,
Oh,
you guys,
women.
those students will.
All
They're-
girls.
Oh, come on.
Awesome.
power.
Okay, I just was trying to figure that out. I knew there was a method, I just couldn't remember it.
Right.
I'm old.
Don't be hard on them.
The, next is the public hearing for the Frost Collective LLC square footage increase and renewal. And the public hearing for the Doobie Sisters retail marijuana business license. And
That's
Chavalos.
the new one coming in.
Where?
Is there not a Doobie sister somewhere else?
and
There's
Cortez.
Cortez.
Where is it, Cortez?
And where's that coming here?
What was the name of the last one?
Bud
The Bud Farm.
The Bud Farm.
Jim Lee.
Yeah, the Bud Farm, the old laundromat,
Down
Oh, over there,
But
across
next-
from,
Dollar Dollar.
next Family Dollar.
yeah. Oh,
Depending on how long you've been here, we'll just keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going back.
And then the Chavalos Makers liquor license transfer to La Mesa Mexican Restaurant.
That one is going to be removed because it's not complete,
Hmm.
but we will add complement adoption to that one, in place of Chihuahua.
so these La Mesa's gonna take over for Chavalas?
Correct. When they submit, everything is required.
Are they selling then?
Is it just an LLC change or is it?
It's just a change in name.
Changing
There
it?
was some, yeah. Dan is still there, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what's his name?
Sister.
2 weeks back.
Is there
Okay,
anything else that anybody wants on the October 25th agenda?
So I have some.
Okay.
When do we do your review? Isn't it time?
yes, it is, and Cindy and I will get that sent to you guys. Did you guys do okay with it on,
Same way we did last year.
Yeah.
okay.
Was that Survey Monkey?
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys will have time to do it in the next 2 weeks. Do I better on October 25th or wait?
No,
We
wait,
better put it on.
Let's wait.
Let's do it on that canceled meeting in November.
You just do it, like,
Yeah,
you know,
you're
thumbs up, thumbs down.
So- when are you leaving? Sunday?
I leave Sunday,
Okay.
come back Friday.
She's gonna be unreachable.
Okay,
If you need help with stuff, Cindy can help you.
okay.
She knows how to use all of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cindy's pretty savvy.
We'll get it,
She's a survey rookie.
we'll get it set up and get it out to you guys, and then let's try to maybe do it the, first meeting in November. Okay,
Approved.
Because I just haven't seen it, I know we do it this time of year.
And do you need me to resend you guys anything, or do you guys have that? in
didn't
The
have,
procedures and the, do you want me to resend it?
So they
Cindy? Or do you?
let me look at mine and I'll let you know tomorrow, okay?
Cindy might have it in hers.
Okay, next on the agenda is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
So,
Okay. Close?
I hate to sit around.
How's things going? So we're busy.
Yeah.
You old guys okay?
Casper's good.
Close.
again. I turned 40 last week.
Oh, and a new baby. Our lives are so different, our faces so large. I'm 68.
Yeah, I'm in the grind.